Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, across this great country. You're probably thinking it's the Power of Pittsburgh podcast. They had an emergency tonight, and our special prayers are with them. So we had to move the slot down from the Cleveland show into this slot. This is the American Sports History Podcast, hosted by my good friend Peter Ray. 347-205-9631. I'm Mark Mancini producing it. Without further ado, let me give him the podium, the mic, the red carpet. Peter, first of all, how are you? Second of all, how can people get a hold of you? Third of all, your special guest.
Hi, Mark. My name's Peter Ray. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Peter J. Ray. It's my name, last name R-E-A, and I make history videos. We've made 673 history videos in different areas, including Cleveland baseball. 171 videos for every year in Cleveland baseball history from 1869 to 2019, including the 20 Negro League seasons. Actually, yeah, it's wonderful. We've had so far on this program Scott Spezia, Jennifer Madison, Randy Lurch, Lenny Randall, Warren Brewster, Jeff White, and Dante Powell. Tonight we have Dan Coach Muddle. I believe your last name is Messina. Is that right?
That is. It is.
Now, should I call you Coach Muddle? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, just don't call me late for dinner. You can call me anything
Okay.
you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Now, we three guys, we're talking sports, and I had a thought because, the question is, why are we talking sports? I turned 60 yesterday. Why are we doing this? And the thing is, it's deep in our psyche, from childhood. When we were kids, when we were boys, sports was everything, and the heroes when we were kids were the athletes. And I wanted to throw out the possibility of talking about our own playing days, and I'll embarrass myself first because I had a very minimal, you could say, athletic career. And a few funny things happened. Playing football in the park one day when I was maybe 9, I went out for a pass and ran into a tree looking back at the quarterback, and I knocked myself out. But I got a lot of admiration for it. It seemed like an achievement. And same thing happened in Little League Baseball. I was a terrible player. I used to go up to home plate knowing I would strike out every time. And so it's terrible. But I don't know why I kept, fell in love. Maybe that's why, I became a sports fan. But one time I was in left field. I thought, I got to make a play. Fly ball. It's a home run ball. I run into the left field fence, knock myself out again. But again, I'm a hero because the guys admire it. I'm getting a lot of admiration. They take me out of the game. And then actually my greatest moment in baseball was I hit a fly ball to left field when I was maybe about 15 in a youth recreation league. A fly ball that was caught, but I felt a lot of pride about that I hit the ball that well for me, which was a good hit. And let's see. Oh, and I played. It's funny. I played adult softball in the game. When I was 25, and I was a catcher, and the ball came in, a play at the plate, and the guy. Oh, this big dude ran right into me, and I went flying. It was like Pete Rose and Ray Fosse, but I didn't get badly hurt. I didn't get hurt, but I hung onto the ball, but I was knocked unconscious again. So a lot of funny stories. Believe it or not, when I was 36, I was in Guam. I tried out for the Guam Olympic baseball team. Got cut in the first round, but I felt a sense of pride. So, Coach Muddle, do you have anything you'd like to talk about when you were young fellow playing yourself as a kid in high school, college, or during your playing days?
Oh man, I was I was just the average guy. I showed up with my lunch pail and did whatever they said. I bitched and whined about it, but I just did my job and played as long as I could. Try to keep extending the career as long as you can. And,
Did you play varsity baseball in high school or varsity sports?
I played some varsity football for a few years. So,
what position did you play?
I was an end guard and tackle. I sat at the end of the bench. I guarded the water bucket and tackled anybody who went near it. And got some accolades for doing that.
Did you make? You played some defense. Did you make a tackle in the game?
Yeah, I did make a few every once in a while. They did come that way, and I managed to find my way to making one or two.
And did you get a sack?
Yeah, actually I did, man. Actually I did. I sacked a guy by the name of Keith Lyle, who wound up playing in the NFL for was it the Rams, and then finished up with the Redskins.
So you sacked an NFL quarterback.
Well, he played DB in the league. He wasn't an NFL quarterback, but he was a quarterback in high school.
Well, so was that your greatest moment in football, the sacking the quarterback?
Yeah, we can chalk that one up.
How about baseball? What was your greatest moment in baseball? Did you ever hit a home run or a double or a triple or did you get a?
Yeah. I played baseball up until once I got to high school. I kind of really focused more on the football and
right.
Stuff. So I really, so I played. I was left-handed, trying to be a catcher being left-handed, and I stuck it out for quite a bit. And I think once I got to the high school and they didn't want me behind the plate anymore, I kind of, went our different direction,
So you played catcher in Little League baseball? Yeah,
I did.
Well, hey, I'll give you a lot of credit. Catcher. Wow, that's even if regardless. That's a big deal. I think that's catcher. That's the toughest position, man. You got to wear all that gear and squatting down, and you get fly balls. And did you ever have a play at the plate as a catcher in Little League?
Yeah, had to play at the plate, man, and had somebody try to run over me. Unfortunately, I'm a little stockier than it sounds like you are. So I didn't really because I was more on the giver. I was more the giver than the taker on that one.
How'd you do throwing out base runners? It
was. Little League, they didn't really steal much, so
okay.
It wasn't too. I didn't have to do that much. So.
Did you ever hit a home run in Little League?
I don't think I hit a home run. That's such a long time ago. I don't think I hit a home run.
How about a double?
Yeah, I probably put the only because the fielders couldn't figure out who was to get the ball. I hit one in the gap, and
how about basketball?
Probably took some extra bases, than I should have.
Did you play basketball?
I played a little hoops, did a little wrestling, ran some track. I kind of tried to do the gamut.
So you grew up in New York City.
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker, and here's an interesting fun fact that one of my childhood jobs, summer jobs, I used to bring film to a guy you may know, at least the name, Bill Belichick, who has some ties to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I used to bring film to him as a kid. So,
in what capacity?
It was training camp up at a small little Pace University up a little ways. I used to take a hour bus ride, maybe almost 2 hour bus ride every morning. Go up there, hang out. One day, a guy goes, "Hey, can you take this up to that building up there on the second floor?" And I said, "Sure." It happened to be Bill Belichick, and from then on, I was the gopher.
So he was coaching college?
No, he was the Giants' defensive coordinator.
Did you meet Belichick?
Training camp for the New York Giants. I saw him every day. Bill Parcells.
Wow, cool.
And, so.
What was your favorite sports team in New York as a kid? Of the teams?
I'd have to say the Giants just because as a kid I got to hang out with those guys, so I kind of had a personal connection with those guys, and you want to know, I just want to say real quick to everyone in Cleveland that I want to say thank you very much for, taking the albatross of a wide receiver, OBJ, off our hands.
Okay.
Because, I just want you to know, and here it is, because just like the song says, if you make it there, you can make it anywhere. And when you don't make it there, we send you to Cleveland. And that's where you wind up.
Okay. What was your favorite year when you were a kid for rooting for the Giants?
It had to be '86 when they won the Super Bowl.
With let's see, the quarterback was
Phil Simms.
Phil Simms, right? Yeah, he's on. He's a commentator. The '86. Oh
yes.
Hell, you guys beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that was that the drive?
Yeah, it was the drive. Yeah, 86 was my favorite Cleveland Browns team. Browns were 12-4. Got the AFC title game in here and couldn't hold the lead late. And Elway, we lost 3 out of 4 AFC title games, 86, 87, and 89. But the Broncos lost against Denver, and they lost all 3 Super Bowls. So that was tough on them. That's why I always feel sorry for the Bills fans losing 4 Super Bowls in a row. I mean, I can't think of anything worse for a fan than what the Bills went through with that.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I'm always rooting for Buffalo to win a Super Bowl.
Because that was Biner put it on the rug, right?
Biner, he got stripped. He was he actually having a tremendous game, and the guy, he got popped. And I think the guy who was supposed to block this guy who knocked the ball loose, I think he missed his assignment. But anyway, those are the breaks of the game, and you guys, do you remember Joe Pazarkick? Was that a Giants quarterback back in the 70s?
God, that's a little that might be a little bit before my time.
And Larry Zonka, I think, played for the Giants briefly at the end of his career.
I think he had a cup of coffee. Yes.
Well, the Giants. Oh, I read. Oh man, the book by what's his name? The guy on Monday Night Football with Cosell and
Frank Gifford.
Gifford, yeah. I mean, what a history. The New York Giants, what a tremendous history, and going back to, who was that quarterback who had the funny name? There's a picture of him. Y.A. Tittle, yeah, there's a wonderful photograph. He's got blood, his helmet's knocked off, his blood going off his face, and he's just sitting in a daze, and there's like a defender cowering over him. What a tremendous, and the Mara family, what a tremendous history, the New York Giants, man.
Right, and actually, a lot of people don't know the Maras almost lost the team in the late 70s, early 80s. I think it was 79. The NFL appointed George Young as the general manager of the team because they were doing so poorly, and they had to fix it. That the NFL had to step in and really help them save the franchise. And I really feel that the Giants have gotten back into that old ways with the way things are going, unfortunately.
It's interesting. I have a theory about sports that what makes a team great is is ownership by a great family. That it's able to sustain itself from one generation to the next. I think it's true with the Rooney family in Pittsburgh. I think it's true also with the Mara family, and many people seem to understand, but that seems to be what it takes. If they're good people, and they're good father, and he has good sons, and they have good kids, and then it goes on and on and on.
Well, and then you could take the Crafts. I mean, since they've bought it, they've kind of. But then the opposite, you look at the Joneses. They've kind of. On the paper, they've built the most expensive sports franchise in the world, but they can't win.
Right.
Because they can't get out of their own way.
Now where's this?
In Dallas.
Oh, in Dallas. Well, Jerry Jones did well for a while. Did real well early on, right?
Well, he did really well, but he wanted all the credit, and he couldn't. He couldn't take the back seat to, Jimmy Jones and Bill Parcells. He really needs a yes man, and that's why Jason Garrett was there for so long. And And I just think, in Cleveland, I mean, you got to get somebody who really wants to win football games instead of, needing a tax write-off. I think that's the problem. And in the state of Ohio, both Cincinnati and Cleveland are dumpster fires.
Listen, we got Dan. We have a caller, Lou from New Jersey. Lou, you're on the air. Do you have a question for Dan, Coach Muddle, Messina?
Oh, good evening, Coach.
How you doing?
Yeah. So you said he was with the '86 Giants. Well, what do you think the Giants need to improve on? Say we have a season next year, because it started out promising with our new quarterback, but then after the third game, he just fell apart. So what do we need to make on the 2020 season, assuming we have one?
Well, assuming we have one, let me tell you, I am in love with Joe Judge. I mean, I'm ready to run through a brick wall after I hear that man speak. I'm fired up. I'm still think Dave Gettleman is not very good at his job. He needs to move on, and they need to get a new general manager. They should have done so. But with that being said, offensively, the Giants put some pieces in place. They really need a pass rush. You see in this league, it's a passing league, and without a top-notch pass rusher, you really are in trouble. And I don't care how good of a corner you are, you're going to be in trouble without getting any pressure on the quarterback. And that's one of the Giants' big problems right now, getting pressure.
Yeah.
So, and Daniel Jones, I still think he was good against bad teams in college. He was good against bad teams in the NFL. And I think the jury's going to be out. I mean, we've put, there's going to be some pieces around. I'm really high on Slayton at receiver. So we'll see. We'll see how this offensive line, the new offensive line, works out. And, with Barkley being able to take some pressure off, hopefully he's going to be able to, elevate his game.
Yeah, because they can sure use it. Because, last year looked promising with Jones in the beginning, but after game 3 or 4, he just fell apart. And what looked like it was sure to be a winning season turned to be a very pitiful season.
Well, yeah, you overdrafted Daniel Jones, and that was the problem. You left the pass rusher on the board, and that really cost you quite a bit, man. So.
Do you have another question, Lou?
Hopefully we have a season.
Pardon me?
I said thanks for the call. Hopefully we have a season.
So do I. Well, hope for the best.
All right, there you go. All right.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks a lot. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Lou.
Okay. I don't see another caller at the moment. Let's see. Dan, what's your second favorite sports team in New York after the New York Giants?
Yankees. The Yankees.
And what's your favorite Yankee team of all time?
Ooh, of all time. Wow, that's a tough one because.
Or what was when you became a Yankee fan? What year was it?
Oh, geez, that was early on. I think I was a Yankee fan first and foremost.
No, but what year? Was it early in the 80s?
No, that was the late 70s. I want to say I remember the Dodgers and the Yankees in 77.
What year were you born?
71.
71. Okay, so do you remember the Chambliss Home Run?
Yeah.
Well, you were 5. That's a little. So you were pretty young when those tremendous 77, 78 Reggie.
Yes.
Reggie, Billy
straw
teams.
That stirred the drink.
Yeah. Well, what Yankees team would you like to talk about from?
I was such a Dave Winfield, Don Mattingly guy. And those '80s teams were really the mid '80s. As bad as they were, I loved those Lou Piniella and you had all those guys, Ron Guidry, Dave Righetti. Those were fun for me as a kid. And then obviously you get into the '90s, and then Derek Jeter comes, and all of a sudden you're the Yankees of the 20s are here. I mean, they just kind of started taking over again, which I think the Yankees are getting that way again. I mean, if you look at their roster now, with
getting
the
to
young
be
talent.
Overwhelmingly powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like a lot of people around the country. I hate the Yankees, but if you love baseball, you have to love the historical Yankees. I've read 1 million books on, going back. I mean, the whole history going back, Babe Ruth, Gehrig. To me, when Gehrig gave the speech, said he considered himself the luckiest man on the face of the. I actually quoted him at my wedding reception because I thought it was such a beautiful. Thing he said. It was in one of the greatest moments in history because he had such a good attitude about, and it was so heartbreaking for the people, and
right.
But it was a beautiful moment of a triumph of the human spirit. But the whole history, DiMaggio, Mantle, and oh my God, and it's funny, like the Horace Clarke era. You kind of came of age in another Horace Clarke. Too bad they disparaged Horace Clarke. The whole era, from 64 to 76 as being, because he was a good player. But then you came of age, and they had, Steinbrenner kept bringing guys in the 80s.
Billy Martin, and the Billy Martin, how many times was he the manager of the Yankees? I mean, it was,
I was heartbroken when Martin died. I felt really sad about it.
Terrible. Yeah, he just was so, he was such great, at the time, because there was no social media and all this craziness, and as someone who grows up in New York was the mecca of media at the time. Billy Martin was the king, of the quotes and one-liners and stuff at the time, So it was really, really fun as a kid to watch, Billy Martin and whatnot. So
that was one of the fun.
Yeah, but as you talk about history and baseball, I mean, there is not an era that you don't talk about Yankees in any part of baseball history. There's always been that constant of as you say, Babe Ruth, and then you go into DiMaggio and Mantle and go down the line of all these greats. All the way, and throughout all of history, there's always been that,
Yeah, and then the baton, passing the baton from, and then Bobby Mercer was in there for a while.
Bobby Mercer, yes.
So I mean, I really enjoyed. I remember seeing the Chambliss Home Run. Couldn't believe it. And that was one of the games where they finally said, we can't let the fans. The players are running for their lives. They kept, they let fans could storm the fields, and you see Chambliss running for his life. He just put the Yanks in the World Series. Unbelievable. So I mean, I have a lot of. I've read a ton of books of the. And you feel for Billy Martin when he gets traded from the Yankees, and he just wants to come back, and he does. And he wins the World Series. Well, he wins in '77, and then, it's tough trying to win. And but he, in fact, it was nice. We had Lenny Randall on saying, Martin should be in the Hall of Fame. I thought it was nice, somebody standing up for Billy Martin here, all 30 years after his death.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's Phil
Rizzuto, the scooter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all these moments, it's unbelievable. And then they came out with a movie, a recent Billy Crystal movie about 51, Bobby Thompson putting the New York Giants in the World Series against the Dodgers, and the Giants won the pennant. And they had that in this movie with Billy Crystal, where he teaches his grandson. It's very touching. That moment.
Right.
And the whole thing. Yeah, I got into the Brooklyn Dodgers. I think that's such a cool story, and such a Brooklyn.
Well, here's a little trivia for you. You know how the Mets got their colors?
Yeah, there was Giants and Dodgers.
Yeah, that's it. The orange from the Giants and the blue from the Dodgers. That's how they got their uniforms.
it's so cool. It was Tom's. It was sad last year, the 50th anniversary of the Miracle Mets, and Seaver couldn't make it because he's not well enough, and that was really sad. But I was 9 in '69. That was such a cool thing. The '69 Mets, and a new fairly new book out about them. It's called The Brotherhood of that team. These lasting brotherhood and all the memories people have had about the Miracle Mets.
Right. No doubt.
Who's your favorite New York basketball team?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. So they're a strange team, and you'd think they haven't been successful for quite a while.
They have not won in my lifetime. That's the one team that I have not in my fandom that has not won a championship. I'm a Ranger fan hockey-wise, so in '94 I was able to, which I thought was really cool because, I'm in my, early 20s and was able to, go down to the parade and be part of that as a, being in a bar and doing all that great stuff was really, it was a fun time with that. And, but the Knicks, no, it's, you had Bernard King, and then we went from Bernard King and then to Patrick Ewing, and really thought that there were some teams, and some guy named Michael Jordan comes along and screws everything up for you.
Funny story about Walt Frazier, Clyde, one of the coolest guys in NBA history, and he got traded to Cleveland, and the Cavs were playing out in the country. They put them between Cleveland and Akron, and it was like in the middle of nowhere. And Walt Frazier was used to stepping out of Madison Square Garden with his full-length, fur coat into the nightlife in New York, and then all of a sudden you step out of the Coliseum where the Cavs are playing, Richfield, Ohio, and it's just a cornfield. And he's like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" But he had to deal with it. But it must have been, tough for him because real cool. I read a book he said that he was the Knicks announcer, I think, at radio, TV, many years, and he said only like one or two players ever approached him and asked him, anything about, for ideas or all these guys who played for the Knicks. And I thought, man, that's pretty sad.
Wow.
That they didn't have that, they're young men and so forth. So, Dan, would you like to talk about your, let's see, you were formerly ESPN Dan coach, Dan coach Muddle, Muddle in the Huddle?
Yeah, I host a show, You're in the Huddle, with me, Coach Muddle. Formerly ESPN Delaware. Now I'm do my show. You can check it out on YouTube, my Facebook page. Just type in Coach Muddle on any social media platform. I pop up, and my email is coachmuddle@gmail.com. Drop me a line. However you want to, telling me I'm terrible. I don't care. Drop me a line. I don't care.
So you're on
you can
ESPN.
Reach out, just type in Coach Muddle.
You're on ESPN radio or TV?
I was on radio.
Radio. And how long did you do? Well, that's pretty good. ESPN, that's the big time.
Yeah, big time, small market. Unfortunately, when you're an affiliate, the company changed hands, and the company decided they were going from a different format from sports, so they wound up moving on from that. So, we move on, and now I get to be part of this great stable of networks, and being part of your show and all these other shows, and it's really, really a great opportunity to talk with sports with different folks from all over the country. It's great.
And this is Prime Time with the Stables. Is that the name?
There we go.
Well, I can see the writing on the wall. It's ESPN and Stephen A. Smith out the door, and Primetime with the Stables with Mark Mancini, the new sheriff in town. And because nothing stays the same. And these guys, they get Because, we got to – I think the thing is to be different. And some of these guys, they're so high and mighty, and very negative. That's the thing that bothers me in sports talk is all the negativity. And you can see Mark Mancini's bringing in these positive speakers like, Jen Madison and Randy Lurch. So I think that's why – and he's a spiritual man. He's a godly man. So I think that's where success comes from.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride. Looking forward to it.
So, any final words, Dan? Looks like we're running out of time.
Out of time, man. Well, it was good talking with you. Great, everyone in Cleveland and everywhere. I appreciate the time, we'll talk soon. Thanks for having me. Oh,
well, thank you, Coach Muddle, and I hope you're wrong about Odell Beckham Jr. We'll see. I'm certainly not an expert on it's. I hope you're wrong because last year he was hurt. So, but yeah, I think after a while, I think even here we're getting kind of tired of the drama. Hope he can play and perform and just play football and stop the other stuff. But he seems like he's more than just. He wants to be like a personality or. Media sensation, maybe a fashion icon or something. I don't know.
There's no I in team, and he can't figure out how to spell it.
Okay, well, we're out of time. God bless you, Dan, Coach Muddle Messina. Thanks so much for being on the show. And on behalf of Mark Mancini and the Prime Time with the Stables, this is Peter J. Ray with American Sports History. God bless you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks.
Right, very good. Okay.
All right.